Hello everyone, my name is Hemu. So in today's session, we are trying to knock out these particular topics. So first we will discuss what is Panorama. The second topic, which is Palo Alto Panorama two-tier architecture. Panorama deployment overview. What type of deployment methods we are having for Panorama in production environment. We will discuss what is the Palo Alto Panorama operating system. Because if you want to do the troubleshooting, you need some knowledge of operating system of your Panorama. Then we will discuss some hardware appliance of your Panorama, or we will discuss some physical appliance which is offered by Palo Alto for Panorama solution. And after that, we will discuss the Panorama virtual appliance as well, which we can deploy in our private cloud, and that same virtual appliance we can also deploy in the public cloud. We will discuss what type of operational mode we are having for Panorama and what are the minimum resource requirement for these modes. And after that, I just move towards the Panorama supported interfaces. So what type of interfaces available in your Panorama? Because if you want to understand the network segmentation, this is the most critical part, guys. And if you are designing the LLD or HLD of your Panorama solution, you have to understand the network segmentation, how you will implement the network segmentation, how you will segment the different types of traffic in your Panorama solution. Then I will give you some overview of my lab environment. So these are the topics which we are going to cover in your today's session, guys. Okay. So now let me just start with your first topic, which is what is Panorama. So if I will tell you the definition of your Panorama. So Panorama is a device. Your Palo Alto Panorama. Panorama is a device which we used for config management, dynamic updates management, software management, log management of your Palo Alto firewall if you have deployed the Palo Alto firewall across multiple locations. Let's suppose you are just having a one office across the globe. You just have one office, let's suppose in India, in Bengaluru. So if you have a one office, generally in this single office, mostly you are going to have only two firewalls, right? Firewall 1 and firewall 2, and you are going to run these firewalls in HA mode. So guys, what you will think? Do you need a Panorama solution for these two device management? What you will think? Yes or no, guys, on the chat? Do we require any Panorama solution for this? Not required, right? Let's suppose now your organization is growing and now you have started a new office, let's suppose in India itself, in Delhi region. These are the cities of India. Who is not from India. So now in Delhi office, we have deployed two firewalls, right? Firewall 1 and firewall 2. So guys, what we can do, if we just have a two location, still these locations we can able to manage manually. If we want to add some rules on your head office firewalls, we can log in into these head office firewall and we can configure them. If we want to upgrade these firewalls, we can upgrade them. We don't need any Panorama solution for these type of small deployments. Now let's talk about the big overview. Let's suppose you have around 20 sites. Means you have your offices into 20 locations. Let's suppose you have 100 sites. You have 50 sites. You have a 2000 sites. Or let's suppose you have a 5000 sites. Means if you have a such type of big number of Palo Alto firewalls in your organization. Now guys, tell me, let's suppose I am having around 200 sites On each sites, I am having two Palo Alto firewall. I am running these two Palo Alto firewall in HA mode. So total, I am having around 400 devices. Now, let's suppose, guys, right now on these devices, you are running one version, which is, let's go with the 10. Let's say you are running this version 10.1.0. And now your organization is decided to upgrade this version into 10.2.3. This is the most stable version as of today. Now, we have a 400 devices, guys. So if we don't have a panorama solution, then what we have to do? We have to start upgradation of these devices one by one. It's a tedious task, right? If you want to upgrade a 400 devices, it's really a very, very difficult job. Maybe you need around 6 months of time. But if you have a panorama solution, if you are managing all your devices with the panorama, you can able to upgrade all the devices just in one click. So that's the power of your Palo Alto Panorama solution, guys. Let's suppose there is a one attack which is happening in your organization. There are some IP address, like these are the some IP address. Let's suppose 100.1.1.1, 150.1.1.1. These are the two IP address from where this attack is coming in your organization. And you have the 200 sites. And now you want to write a rule. So your firewall, which you have deployed into these 200 sites, they can block the traffic which is coming from these devices or these two IP addresses. If you are not managing your devices from Panorama, what you have to do? You have to log in into all these 200 devices and you have to add that particular rule. It's a good solution, or it's a bad solution, or it's a bad design. Maybe if you want to add this just one single rule into all these 200 devices, how much time you need? Minimum time, what is the minimum time you guys need for that? Around 2 to 3 days, if you have around 6 to 7 members in your team, right or wrong? Yes, no, guys, at least response on the chat. But if we have a panorama, what we can do? We can create a rule in Panorama and we can push that rule into all these devices just in one go. So that's the beauty of your Panorama. That's the power of your Panorama solution. So guys, now you will understand why we need the Panorama solution in with your Palo Alto firewall if you have deployed your firewalls into multiple locations. Now guys, if I will tell you the definition of your Panorama, Panorama is a device who can provide the config management capability, your aggregate log management capability, your centralized administration of your all the devices, and it will also provide you the capability of upgrade, downgrade of your softwares and dynamic updates. These are the main tasks of your Panorama in your Palo Alto environments. So this is just a basic definition of your Panorama. If somebody asks, what is Panorama? Are you guys able to answer this question? If somebody asks in your interview, what is Panorama? What is why we can go for this Panorama solution? Now, so this particular Panorama, guys, this solution majorly provides you three things. The first thing, what you can do, you can able to control the software upgrade and downgrade, your content upgrade and downgrade. Contents means your application signatures, your antivirus signatures, your wildfire signatures, your URL filtering database. You can able to control, and you can able to control the license management. So these are the some tasks which we can achieve by using Panorama for all your firewalls. Apart from this, we can also able to control the config management of your all the devices through the Panorama with the help of templates and device group. Guys, what is template, what is device group, I am going to discuss in details, but let me just tell you, templates includes all the configuration parameters which you will see in your network tab when you will log in your Palo Alto firewall and your device tab. Whatever configuration object you will see here, we can control with the help of templates. Device group includes the configuration parameter which you will see in your security tab and your object tab. Means if you want to configure any net rule, any security policy, we have to do the config changes on your device group. The third main benefit of your Panorama is your aggregate logging. Means all your managed devices, they can forward the logs towards your Panorama appliance. And now in this Panorama appliance, you have the entire visibility of your infrastructure. What's going on in your infrastructure? You will get the full visibility. Let's suppose, guys, we have a 200 sites. Now, there is some threats. There is some type of virus which have impacted few of your sites. If you are not managing these sites with the help of this Panorama, how you will basically check? Because you are just have a 10 people in your team. It's become very difficult, right? How many site is impacted? But if you have a Panorama, you will get the visibility. These are the sites which is affected with these threats. Now, let's suppose now your manager came and he's asking, can I have the reports? Can I have the reports? What are the top applications people are accessing in my infrastructure? What type of communication is going on my infrastructure? Can I have entire report? Is there any threats? In which country my employee, they are sending lots of traffic? If you need such kind of reports, you can get the centralized control for your reports. This is the another benefit of your Panorama. Apart from this, guys, you will get the centralized control for your user ID management and redistribution. This is the another benefit. Means you will get the user to IP mapping details in your Panorama. You can control this thing also from just from one location. Means it will provide you the overall single pane of glass for your config management, your software upgrades, downgrades, your reports, your log management, and also you can able to configure the centralized device administration. Means let's suppose you have some global rules. Means let's suppose you have a set of 10 applications. You want to block all these 10 applications. Let's suppose you have some URL category like pornography, adult websites, your malware websites, your gambling website. You have a block rule for them. In that case, what? You can create these central policies. And you can just give the access to your network administrator centrally. Means they can able to manage all the policies centrally through the Panorama. But if you have some local admins in your sites, you can give the access of these firewalls locally. Means let's suppose you have a two type of devices. You have some branches and you have some data center. Let's suppose these firewalls comes under your data center, and this firewall let's suppose comes under your branch. In that case, maybe for branch, you have dedicated network engineers, like 6 people you are having for branch firewall management, and you have some highly skilled people who can responsible for managing your data center. So let's say here you have 5 people. Now you can give the access in such a way, so these 5 people, they can only able to make the changes in your data center firewalls. They will not allowed to make any changes here. And your branch engineers, they can able to just do the configuration changes on your branch firewalls. They will not able to control these data center firewalls. So this kind of device administration you will get with the help of Panorama. So these are the some benefit you will get in your Panorama environment. Now let's see what are the other things I have here. Centralized configuration and deployment. Guys, deployment, I just forget to tell you. Let's suppose you are decided to configure few sites. Let's suppose there are 20 sites that you want to put a same firewall. Let's say you have decided to put a 820 Palo Alto 820 firewalls into all these sites. All these sites have a symmetric HLD and LLD, means they have a symmetric design, means all these 20 sites, they need a similar type of configuration. So what you can do, you can create that configuration in advance in your Panorama. And whenever you will complete the staging of your devices on these 20 sites, you can just deploy that config from the Panorama. Means you can just pre-build the configuration in your Panorama. So that kind of deployment flexibility also you will get in your Panorama. Config and deployment we will achieve with the help of templates and device group. Now, you will get the centralized report for your network visibility, means you will get the, you can able to create a centralized reports of your data, what's going on in your infrastructure. You can able to do the centralized control for software upgrades and downgrades. You can upgrade the softwares of your Palo Alto firewalls through the Panorama. You don't need to, guys, just tell me. Let me just tell you one real-time use case. I think you guys are not aware of this case, but while I was working in one of my customer, we have faced this issue. What used to happen? I was working with a customer who is having around 1,800 sites across the globe, where around 500 sites we have a Palo Alto firewall. So what issue we were facing here? These 500 firewalls, not we have they have a 500 sites, so where we have around 1,000 firewalls, because we have an active passive deployment there. So what used to happen? We have configured the content downloads and install automatically. We have scheduled this content installation and download and install into all your 1,000 firewalls. So what used to happen? In a specific time of a day, what they used to do, all these 1,000 firewalls, they used to send the request into Palo Alto update server. And guys, for that, this traffic, what we have done, because they used to communicate through the management interface. And through this management interface, we have basically just created a one. We have just done some routing and we have just started sending this traffic through one of our data center in USA. So from US data center, all these 1,000 firewalls used to communicate with the Palo Alto update servers. What used to happen, guys? Because now, let's suppose I was having this particular public IP address at this location. Now, Palo Alto update server is receiving the request from 1,000 devices for downloading the content from same public IP address. Guys, which type of attack Palo Alto consider? Yes, no on the chat, right? Which type of attack it is? Generally, it's a DDoS attack. I got good answer from lots of people. So Palo Alto have deducted this as a DDoS attack is happening. What is the another issue you will face apart from this? Apart from this issue, what is the another issue you may face in the production environment? Yes, high utilization. High link utilization means this link is utilized and you will get lots of latency from here. So guys, this type of problems you will face. Now, what is the solution for these problems? Anyone able to answer what is the solution for this problem? Different time schedule, but yeah, we can able to do that. So I got a good answer from Raghu. We can download all these updates into a panorama, and from this panorama we can post them. Because you know, in LAN side, we have a high bandwidth links. Guys, always our local area network has a high links, right? So what we can do, if we can download all the software and content updates into this panorama, and after that we can push these updates into all your 1000 devices. That's a good solution, right? So this was the solution we have to consider at that time. There was a one more issue, guys. Let's suppose you have a one management interface in your panorama M0/0. You are using this management interface for sending the configuration. You are using the same interface for log management as well. And if you will use the same interface for sending these updates, what will happen? Maybe this management port utilization go high, right? So that's why we have to do the proper network segmentation in your panorama. And that I'm going to discuss in detail, how you can basically control all these things. Okay. Okay, let's go ahead now. We will get the centralized log management capability. We will get the centralized user ID control and redistribution to all the firewalls. Means we can connect the user ID agent with the panorama, and panorama will redistribute all the user to IP mappings to all the firewalls. So we will get the centralized control for your user ID. We can get the centralized administration for different admins. Means we can create a enterprise admins who can able to manage the firewalls through panorama, and they can also able to do the local management. And we can create some local admins according to their locations, their region, and they can able to manage the firewalls or devices locally. Just guys, give me 1 second. Okay, cool. Local policy and config management I have already covered. So now Panorama is available as one of the following virtual and physical appliance. Now guys, your Panorama is available as a virtual machine. If it is available as a virtual machine, we can, which means we can able to deploy it in a public cloud environment, and we can also deploy in a private virtual environment. Means we can deploy the Panorama into the hypervisors, into virtual environment, right? Okay. Now each of the which supports license for the managing. So guys, whatever panorama you will deploy, either hardware, either virtual, depending on the license, whatever license you are going to purchase from Palo Alto, you can able to manage around 25 firewalls. You can manage around 100 firewalls. You can manage around 1000 firewalls. Even though if you have a huge firewalls, means you have a count of 3000 firewalls, 2000 firewalls, this type of number you are in that case, what you have to do, you have to go for M600 and M700 physical appliance. These are the two high-end hardware boxes from Palo Alto. And if you are using these boxes, you can able to manage up to 5000 firewalls across the globe with the help of these devices. Similarly, if we have deployed the panorama in your virtual environment, which is your VMware environment or your AWS environment or your GCP environment, what you can do, you can just put the high resources there, like high CPU, high RAM. In that case, you can also able to manage up to 2500 firewalls, guys. Okay, so these things you have to remember, because you know when you will design the solution, these are the things which you have to know. Now, if how your centralized configuration deployment works. So Panorama used to simplify central management and rapid deployment of your firewalls and your wildfire appliance. So which means with the help of Panorama, what you can do, you can able to control your firewalls, but you can also able to control your wildfire appliance. If you remember, we have a wildfire appliance WF500, right? We can able to also manage this wildfire appliance in your network. Panorama used to pre-stage the firewall configuration, means we can able to do the configuration in advance for firewalls or for wildfire appliance. And whenever our device is racked and stacked in a rack, what we can do, we can push these policies. So we can also get such kind of benefit, guys. Centralized log management and reporting. So I have to add here reporting now. Panorama used for aggregate logging with central oversight for analysis and reporting, collect information on activity across all the managed firewall. Means what will happen? Let's suppose you have 1,000 devices, 1,000 firewalls. These firewall, what they will send the logs to the Panorama, and Panorama will gives you the entire overview. Like here, if you will see the Panorama, this is the Panorama console. If you will go into this ACC tab, here you will see the entire activity, all the threads, all the network activity, blocked activity, tunnel activity, all such kind of details you will see. Okay. Maybe I don't have much data on this Panorama, so that's why it is not showing anything. You will get the centralized administration capability as well, right? So these are the three main benefit of your Panorama. Now, if you want to see, so I have some images here. So if you will see this particular deployment, this is the centralized or a distributed administration kind of environment where we have your Panorama NHA. These are the M series appliances, and we have a Panorama virtual appliance as well in HA. And what we can do, these are the firewalls which we are managing through the Panorama. This is known as centralized management, means we can able to control these firewalls from these devices. And we have some network admins who is basically doing the config changes into your Panorama devices. We can also able to configure the Panorama as a log in a log collector mode, or we can collect all the logs into this Panorama devices. Means all your managed devices, they can either send the logs here into this Panorama. But guys, tell me one thing, this Panorama have some limited capacity of managing your logs, which means this Panorama we can also use as a dedicated log collectors. Means we can collect these logs from these firewalls. So means these firewall will forward the logs here to these Panorama devices, and we can manage these log collectors through this particular Panorama. So means Panorama can manage your firewalls. It can manage the Panorama which is running in a log collector mode, and we can also use Panorama for managing your wildfire appliances. Panorama we can also integrate right now. If you remember, we have a one solution which is SASE or Prisma Access. If I'll tell you the name, you can also manage the Prisma Access through the Panorama, guys. So I think this is the new term which you have heard, but we can use this Panorama for managing your Prisma Access. Okay, so this is the, if you will see this slide, this is the environment where we are running Panorama in a dedicated log collector mode. Okay, but we can also run a Panorama in this mode where these firewalls can forward the logs to some external services like your email server, your SMTP traps, your syslog servers. Directly, they will send these logs to these servers. And they can also send the logs to your dedicated log collectors. And this is the Panorama management server where we will get the reports. So yes, Prisma is a really expensive solution, guys. And we will discuss this Prisma in some other sessions, okay? Because Prisma is not a part of this particular training. Maybe I will run one demo class on this Prisma and all. Okay, cool. So this log collector and all, I will discuss, guys, in detail. Don't worry on that. Now let me just move towards this slide.